Hello and welcome back to the Touch the City podcast. I am Fax Mercury, and this is episode 30. Before I introduce the legendary man himself, I just want to make a small note. Well, actually, no, I'll let you introduce yourself first, then we could talk a little bit about 30 episodes.
All right. So
I'm sorry.
let me go ahead and introduce myself, I guess. Let me just get that out the way. You already know who's back on set, Twim, aka Twim 4K, because I'm actually back in the flesh in 4K today with the cam link on deck. You know what I'm saying? And we recording live in 4K for the first time, so this is about to be a movie.
4K,
you know what I'm saying?
crispy.
You already know, crisp quality, you know what I'm saying? So you can throw it up on your big screen TV. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna just let that intro sit there, let you get the 30 off. So I'm gonna let you go ahead first.
Well, episode 30. So we are the Touch the City podcast. I wish I had. Sometimes I try to come up with an official description of it, and quite frankly, it's literally just us catching up. So thank you for the fact that we made it to 30 episodes of literally just us catching up, and we just happen to record the conversation.
Nah. Thank you. Honestly, it's been my pleasure, brother. For real.
So it's just, like I said last time, it's just so easy to do this podcast with you. It's a fucking breeze. Like that shit just rolls off the tongue, you know? Like it's easy. This is basic conversation to me. Like, I guess we just have that dynamic, you know?
Word. And honestly, like that's like facts for sure, honestly. And you know, the fact that we can really just come here and just shoot this shit and honestly record this and put it out, and these people that's out there that actually want to consume, and you know, the base is growing, and you know, hopefully the base continues to grow, and you know, people continue to spread that good word. You know, that's dope. And you know, I just hope and continue to see that growth just continue and grow forever. Like, you know what I mean? Just continue to grow on, you know what I mean? Whatever it becomes. And, you know, that's like honestly why we here, you know, just to shoot the shit, like just to really give y'all, you know, our piece of opinion over things kind of like, I don't, you know, want to just chalk it up to that, but barbershop talk, you know what I mean? The homies chilling in the room, Xbox live chat party shit, you know what I'm saying? Like that's really the vibes that we really on. So like, I'm just happy that, you know, I just get here to do that with my brother, son, and we just capturing it here live. Feel me?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So, yes, thank you for rocking with us. Like he said, 30 episodes in. So let's jump into it. How was your week?
Well, 30 episodes in. Yo, shout out Steph Curry on 30.
Wardell Stephen Curry Jr.
You know, the greatest shooter himself. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give a shout out to the boy, because you know what I'm saying, he's definitely done some damage. So, you know, I would be remiss to not go ahead to not.
It would be egregious of you if you don't mention Steph Curry's name.
But man, what did I do this week? It's honestly been, you know, actually hectic, more so on the work side. Like I know I usually get off that and then kind of say, you know, but that's whatever. But nah, I've actually been doing a lot. You know what I mean? So obviously at the onset of the coronavirus, as it spread so rapidly and you know, everything was shutting down, there was huge layoffs at my job. Unfortunately, a lot of people got laid off, so they ended up bringing a lot of people back. And but they switched up the model where so that they needed laptops and things like that. A lot of the actual account managers at Optimum for like Brooklyn, New York, so they ended up, I think, rehiring like 13 or 15 account managers. And so I had to work with just getting them some machines throughout the week and work with like executive management on that. So that shit was like pretty hectic. Mad eyes on me. Like, yeah, I don't know if you know that feeling of just anything with a project, or if you have like a deadline or expectation, like, and there's so many eyes on you. So like I've been definitely just running in and out the house and at work long hours of the day. You know, definitely like a regular. Like I don't go to work at 8 a.m. no more, but I've been at work at 8 a.m., which is crazy. So that shit hasn't been the best, I guess. I mean, it's been cool because like it's been cool to work, actually. You know what I mean? There's something weird about not having work or not having really used your technical skill. Because I don't know if other people may be able to relate to this, maybe the listeners, or you know, you obviously, you know, one like you can relate. But just like anytime you move up or you take on another task that's like at a higher level, or where you're getting compensated more, sometimes it doesn't seem necessarily like I guess as like the work is as difficult as when you were working like, let's say, minimum wage. Like when I
Mm.
worked at retail, for instance, like I felt like my jobs at White Castle and Best Buy were 20 times harder than every job that I've ever had in corporate. But it's just weird that now that I'm at the point where I'm at in my career, I don't have to use maybe some of the troubleshooting skills that I learned when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21. When I first got out of college, 22, first got my first corporate job, I had to do a lot of troubleshooting, help desk like work, even though I wasn't really a help desk. I was like an on-site analyst. And you're doing a lot more troubleshooting though, a lot more analyzing issues and like resolving it. Like that's not my job no more. It seems like my job is more so management, and it's just weird. Like it's just fucking strange. So when you do have to delve back in, even though you do remember it, it's just like, oh shit, I gotta brush it up. So it feels good to be able to brush up those skills. And I don't know how to like necessarily relate it to anybody in everybody else's field, but I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to digging up an old skill and having to being able to perform. And that's pretty much what's happened over this past week. So that was pretty fun and but stressful at the same time. Uh Shit, I mean, I've been doing a whole bunch of shit with my PC. I've pretty much rebuilt my rig. I don't know if there's gonna be a way for me to show it to the pod, but I mean, I'm pretty sure if anybody follows me on Twitter, they've seen it. I think or Instagram. I posted it on an Instagram story. I didn't throw up any like hard pictures, but I'll probably throw it on my bullshit page or whatever so people can actually see it. But I completely redid the insides, and I mean that shit looks pretty, bro. Looks really, really good. So that's pretty much been it. I mean, I just been doing that work, PC, family, drinking some vino, you feel me? Doing shit like that. That's it, man. Just continuing to improve and expand in life, bro. That's all I've been on.
I respect that.
Yeah,
And
how
I
about
did
you, though?
see the build. What did you
Mhm.
do for your build? My just one question. What did you change?
Yeah,
Because
no.
I didn't really know what you had before, honestly.
Oh well, it's funny. I didn't do anything really. I guess upgrade wise, I actually am just cosmetically pimped it out. I guess you would say. So for anybody who doesn't know, I've recently migrated from 7700K as my primary rig over to a AMD 3900X. Built a rig in a Lian Landcool 2 case. And with the Land Cool 2, they sell it for where you can make upgrades to the build. So they have a vertical GPU mounting kit that allows your GPU to sit vertically. And I have a Asus 2080 Strix. So it has those nice RGB lights and a really good front end design. And so like being able to put it up like has like just lifted the overall appearance. Like the shit looks like a fucking like Lamborghini. Like I feel like it just looks mad sexy, like the inside of my case. Like, and I got like extra cabling. I got extensions that are specific colors. Because before they were just the black cables that came with the EVGA PSU. Added an extra fan because I had two fans oddly placed cooling the insides of the case. So added a third fan to actually add some, I guess, extra performance. I get to run the fans lower, not necessarily as higher. And I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I did. I'm kind of like taking a look inside. I cleaned up the cable management on the back end side too, which has been fun. Added a fan
Mm.
controller. So now I can control the
Mm.
fans from the inside and not just through BIOS. You know what I mean? Just me, getting my geek on, bro. That's all I've been doing this week. Just getting my geek on, my PC.
Respect.
I did try and record some of it. Like my biggest gripe with all my hobbies is that I don't document it enough to show it to people. But I feel like I hate that 2020 and the modern era has created the expectation that if you're enjoying a hobby, you should be creating it to display to other people, to sell to other people, to monetize to other people. I don't necessarily have to do that. And realistically, I've always understood and accepted that. But I do always feel like it's a missed opportunity. I don't know if you understand
Mm.
what I mean there. When you see like the tons of success other people get from doing those things. And I mean, I feel like I would be ecstatic about it, but I guess like when it comes to actually doing it sometimes, the stress and the OCD that I usually have about all the things that I'm into, it really upticks about content creation sometimes. So, you know, it's just one of those things that it's like, damn, I really, really wish that I did it more. I did document a lot of it. I'm gonna see what I can do. Y'all might see it. Y'all might not. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, putting it out there, but like, I definitely need to do a better job at doing that. And I guess, that's something that I did, I guess, take away, stepping away from that project this weekend. I have a whole bunch of projects coming. This has been, what the pandemic has done for me. I'll be honest, it's gotten me another uptick in just PC building at home. Making the modifications, seeing the gratification. Like I still have the NZXT Kraken that I got installed, and that shit is super dope. Y'all are definitely gonna see that because anybody who doesn't know what the Kraken is, and I know this is super duper nerd talk.
Yeah, the liquid cooler joint.
Liquid cooler, but it also throws animated GIFs. So I could throw like fucking Street Fighter. I could throw GIFs of
I
arts.
didn't know about the GIFs.
Yo,
I didn't know about the GIFs part.
It's just a super dope cooler. So like, it's just gonna be mad cool. It's gonna add another layer of life to the rig. And man, I don't know. PC building has been super dope during quarantine. And hopefully, like I said, I still have so many ideas and projects that I got to get out on that side. So it's been good to definitely re-embrace that amongst other things in quarantine. So, but yeah, that's been my week. I don't want to nerd talk you guys too much to death, but at the same time, I mean, I hope you guys appreciated that because that's all I've been on. Really, that's all I've been on.
That's what you've been on.
Nah, facts. What about you, brother?
We got the room redone. I'm sure y'all can see the shelves here.
All right, my son, young builder, right there.
Put that there. God, that shit took fucking 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. What are we talking about? First of all, what the hell we did this week on Saturday, dude, when we went to the park.
Oh yeah, we chilled. Oh yeah, man. And it's so crazy how time works. I feel like that was it 2 weeks ago or was it 1 week ago?
Was it 1 week or 2 weeks? I don't know. But anyways,
Lord knows.
We did. If I'm getting weeks confused, just please let me know because I'm.
It's all good. Because honestly, I was thinking about that earlier today too. I was like, wait, did we chill with them last week? I was having a conversation.
I felt like, oh God. Anyway, did that. I redid my desk as well. Got my nerd on because I finally put my shelf up and I got all my Pop Funkos staring at me right now. So And I just ordered because I got the shelf. That's why I didn't order the rest of the ones that I wanted to order. Now I started ordering the rest of the ones. So I'm about to fill this shelf up in like 2 weeks' time, practically.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I got my desk in perfect array as best as I really can get it without getting a new desk. And I like the position, everything. My rig is right next to me for whatever I need to, just pop it off, take a look at what's going on. And my rig is a cube. So all I have to do is just pop the cover and I'm looking down into it. So because of that, it's just
easy accessibility. Easy accessibility. Oh man, it's almost like an open air setup. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Like I really envy those type of rigs. And
I just look down and be like, all right, what's going on in there?
Yeah, I'm so jealous. Like I know I was telling you obviously before we started shooting, but like my idea with the room has always been to remove. Like, because I've always had this small side table. It's just a little coffee table, technically, but I've been using it, obviously, to hold my networking equipment. It has some of my hard drives and et cetera, et cetera. A bunch of bullshit, obviously, from my rig. I want to obviously clear it off and use this closet behind me. I've been putting up shelves in this room because this is really my office. This is my office. I haven't really... One day I will do a tour. I don't know when, but I'm going to do a tour for the podcast or just for my YouTube. I'll throw it on the YouTube. Everybody will be able to go and take a look at the room tour. But I have some shelves that I've been installing so that I can like remove all the shit that's in the closet, put it out there on the shelves because I mean, it's good eye candy for one, and two, it just makes more sense. Make more real estate. Use the real estate that is your walls. Honestly, I feel like you taught me that shit. Like seeing you and Ruthie design your house is just honestly like y'all niggas is the masterminds of design to me. So
that's
like
crazy.
I mean shit, just be humble. You wear the hat. So I understand you're humble, but it's all good. Just throwing the shelves up is gonna clear a mad room. So I'm gonna be able to turn that little closet into an IDF closet. That's always been one of my dreams. It's gonna help me push my career, my professions, but it's also gonna be able to allow me to reclaim this table. On this table, my idea is to do an open air setup. If not an open air setup, it'll probably be just to hold my secondary rig because I do want to use this desk space. I'll probably put a mini ITX tower on there. I want to do an NZXT H1 build and throw it on my desk and then fucking throw the second rig on the top. And just like you, be able to quickly access it, change things in and out. If I'm doing tests, comparisons, shit like that, just be able to have that accessible and right there and available
Yeah.
to access. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, so we built those things. We went to the park, and I feel like I'm missing some other key event, but my mind is just
Yeah.
this time, this again, as time goes on, like there's gonna be so many days I'm gonna forget. It's kind of crazy. But all right, so let's jump into it. The NFL is in full swing right now.
Yeah, NFL's in full
Games
swings.
have been playing.
Games have been played. Like you got all the sports. All the sports is back pretty much. I mean, shit. If you even think about it, I don't even know if you've been following. MMA's been back. They've been doing the Fight
Yeah,
Island. They've been killing. I mean, MLB. I know they've been actually back playing baseball. So everybody's been back. But I mean, the NBA playoffs, bro. That's like been the number one bad
yeah,
boy, man. Right now,
yeah.
right now.
But
So,
it's like, look at the NFL. Like, you look at the NFL, MLB. They've had outbreaks.
mhm. Yeah,
The
nah, the
NBA ain't
NFL.
have no outbreaks.
Nah, that's a fact. Yeah,
Bro,
that's a fact.
Cam Newton tested
Cam
positive for
Newton.
COVID. What the fuck is going on?
Oh
You got
man.
whole teams testing or shit like that, like team staff testing. Like, oh,
That shit makes no sense. Like the fact that the NFL has like now had those outbreaks and whole teams. I think it was the Titans that have experienced the most outbreaks now, where they've had games postponed. I'm pretty sure. I think actually the Patriots still play tonight. They play the Chiefs, but now it's just Cam. It sucks. I don't know what the mandate was, and if they're gonna do any tracing and backlogging and try to figure out how he got contaminated and or exposed. Is it family? Is it I'm saying, just the coffee person at Starbucks? Like, you don't ever know. And that's like the unfortunate thing about this virus. But, how they're doing and or choosing to conduct their season is just it's like it's very risky. Like this past week has definitely been very, very like evident of just okay, the NBA is a success story. But you got the NFL on the other hand that just chooses not to, I guess, comply or doesn't want to conform or, unfortunately has that motivation of the president, you know what I'm saying, has the motivation of a Donald Trump where they don't believe or don't want to, just be truthful with everybody about, okay, like this virus is fucking lethal. It is a lethal virus. It's something that can contaminate people and people once contaminated, we don't truly know the effects. We don't know the effects of
mhm.
COVID-19, and that's the reason why there's not a cure. So for us not to know the effects of COVID-19, but try to just continue life and act like, okay, this thing might not have transverse effects down the line, it's just kind of ludicrous. And to say, okay, our past ancestors did it or whatever. All right, our past ancestors were dumber than us. With all due respect, they didn't have the knowledge we have. We have the knowledge to understand that we should make educated decisions. So to me, to put the NFL players in a position where they're susceptible to get contaminated by allowing them to not be in a bubble environment, it was doomed to fail from the jump because it wasn't just Cam Newton. Cam Newton just unfortunately, boom, he's the first superstar, at least it appears,
Yeah.
notable to be announced because he was the only one on the Patriots that got contaminated. You can't just put it out as one player on the Patriots got contaminated so that the team is going to keep playing. With the Titans, same things. Like they were able to mask essentially who it is because so many people got infected. So they don't necessarily have to announce who it is. But if it was like, all right, LeBron got infected, then y'all got to say, all right, LeBron James got infected with COVID. Like it's one thing if it's fucking J.R. Smith. They probably say somebody on the Lakers tested positive.
Mm.
So, it's just unfortunate that, like I said, they're being, susceptible to this type of treatment, at least just from the commissioner and, the agreement. This is just what they've come up with. Prayers out to Cam Newton. You look at the Titan situation that further led to, now look at the Cam Newton situation. They have to figure out either A, are they going to continue to just stick with what they're doing? Or are they going to switch to a bubble situation? Because I'm telling you right now, before the Titan situation, when you have an environment where there was no restrictions on how the players can move, you were setting yourself up for what happened with the Titans. So once the Titan situation happened, they locked it down. They was like, okay, teams aren't able to leave. I believe. I think this is why I'm not 100% sure. Everybody can fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on it. teams aren't able to leave essentially the city that they're playing in whenever
Yeah.
they're there. So like, Patriots in Kansas City and Boston or whatever, or in Massachusetts, y'all can't leave that state. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, or y'all can't leave that city.
It would
Once y'all
have to
see,
be.
yeah, like it's just like, y'all have to like fuck all these mini steps. Y'all can't wait until it happens to conform it. Yo, bubble or not, y'all have seen that
It
the
should have
bubble works.
been
You see that
like
the bubble works.
go to LA or something. You got
Exactly.
2 stadiums in LA. Just
Yeah.
secure both of it. Just be like, yo, you're confined
Teams
to this
flying in
stadium or
and out
this
to play this city, and that's it. That's how like, or maybe do it, split it up by conferences. You got the NFC and the AFC. I don't know how the teams will set it up, but if you want to do it in divisions, maybe teams only play teams in their divisions. I said the same thing about the NBA next season, because the NBA might not be able to enact a full-on bubble, and I mean that's another conversation in itself. But if they can enact a full-on bubble for the entire league, because
I think
that's a
they
lot.
can,
You think? I
because
don't know.
listen, if we go and we're done with the finals, and again, there's no outbreaks, that's a good look.
Mhm.
That's a very good look that I think like Disney and facilities, and I think the NBA would be able to have some sort of, they would be able to leverage that to the best of their abilities. If you
I
can,
th-
that's the first successful, like, yo, we were able to have something and it be of great quality while being as safe as possible with not, it's a lot of changes. They made it work, but it's still like a certain level of, oh, wow. Like even like Ruthie, she doesn't really watch basketball all too much. When she watched the first time she saw a bubble game, she was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, people are pretty surprised with the presentation. And I feel
oh
like
yeah.
because of that, it should allow them to have momentum to do it again next season if they needed to.
Oh no, absolutely. And I'm on 100% agreement with that statement. I think if they needed to essentially fall back or fall safe on a certain type of method that they wanted to enact to roll out a season, this is
Yeah.
proven. This is a proven success. Locked down for 2 to 3 months. You guys, put your heads down if as grown men, get your millions. We'll get the TV money. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing a lot for the fans right now that don't have a lot. If the situation still is that we are not allowed outside our homes, we have a proven method. But I think that they are definitely going to try to get fan money next year for sure. In some way, somehow, they're going to try and start a like rolling fans. And I do think there is a method. And if there's anybody that's going to be able to pull it off, it's going to be the NBA, because, they're going to do restrictive seating, maybe eliminate courtside seating. I'm thinking, spread out seating, maybe with ways to fill in. And it's gonna have everybody in work. Like, and I do think it's healthy. I think it's healthy for a society that does need to find a way, because there isn't a true mindset, in my opinion, and I do believe that we need to adapt, but we need to adapt in a very intelligent way. It doesn't have to be mindless that, yo, let's just fucking open up. It's fine. COVID numbers are down, so they're not gonna spike back up. Let's not talk about the spikes that are happening
And
across the world. Or we
the
are going to
spikes are
probably get it. We
happening.
are going to talk about that. We are going
Yeah.
to talk about the
But
crazy
yeah.
spikes. But
Yeah.
like when you really consider the fact that the NBA at least has been responsible, I believe that they can be one of the responsible organizations that can lead that dynamic of, okay, you know what? They probably have dividers, 6 feet worth of dividers between people or things like that. You know what I'm saying? Where people are in a very uniform manner able to get in and out of these arenas without putting themselves at too much risk, at least within the legal ramifications of the NBA. I'm not saying anything outside of like MSG or something. Niggas is going to be niggas outside of MSG. And you know what I'm saying? I can't speak for any arena, throughout the United States. But there's only so much you can do. But I know that they can do everything and will do everything in their power to try and get fan money next year for sure. Like I've only been to 2 basketball games in my life. I want to go to a motherfucking basketball game. Like, I think, and COVID, what COVID has taught me more than anything? It's taught me that, and I'm not sitting here, bitching, because life is more important than anything. All these other things are just, it's just tokens. It's things that don't necessarily matter. I don't need it. It's my selfishness. It is, admittedly. But it has taught me that life is very, very important. The things that I might have stowed away and thought, you know what, I'll deal with it in 5 years. I should be more addressing, you know, And I don't know. It might be corny. It might be cheesy. It might be the vino speaking. But it is something that I try to, or at least going forward, I'm definitely going to try to do. So the moment, I'm not going to say the moment they do because I'm obviously responsible. But when they do open that motherfucker back up, I'm definitely buying a ticket. I said ticket. Ticket. Shout out to NBA. Shout out to
I
NBA
just
because I'm gonna support y'all
my
motherfuckers.
my final concession is just that, or my final statement is really just that. Like, I just don't agree with opening anything at all for a long time. So that's why I'm like, just keep doing the bubble. Like, it just don't make that jump because I just don't think it's gonna go safely in any way. Trying to make that happen just because NBA games are played in an enclosed space, that's just a recipe for disaster. Like,
Mhm.
even if you have like 1,000 people, you got to consider the workers. Anybody that's there is contributing to a possible COVID outbreak. All it takes is that one person, they interact with something, bloop, 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 and it goes throughout the stadium.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
I
it's it's a
just
tough
feel like
situation. You're right. Like,
yeah,
because I feel like the moment you introduce me, it endless possibilities. Because where have I been? Do first off, you are you gonna test me? Is the question. You know, and I think like is that something that people are willing to submit to? Are you willing to be tested to go to an NBA game? You know what I'm saying? If you
yeah,
if you if you're willing to be tested on site or the day of, like maybe there's a formal process of where the NBA has you go to a formal testing site. There's a formal thing where okay, a few hours before, and like, is this what like? And I guess that's a conversation. I don't know if you like. I guess we're kind of there already, but
yeah.
like, I guess I want to ask you because I know you are somebody that's very adamant about unless we understand this motherfucker and how to cure it, don't open up. And I
Don't
agree.
open up,
That's
right?
smart. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Unless, you know what I'm saying? If you know there's a killer outside your house and you're in the middle of your woods, like unless you have like visibility and you have a clear idea of where he is, what he looks like, it's daylight, you have advantages on your side per se. You're not gonna
Yeah,
go outside. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna lock yourself inside and you ain't gonna fucking move. You're gonna use your advantages. So what should human beings in a world of COVID do? We should stay inside because we have
it's
the ability to stay
crazy
home.
that this the answer is literally there is no answer where you say there's not enough resources to do that. Like I
This
said last time,
yeah,
there's literally unlimited amounts of resources. Again, if it's money, just just make the money, honestly.
print the
Like,
fucking money.
money is really not real. Like, what are we doing? Like,
What are we
we
doing?
see time and time again that any of this shit that they say we can't pay for, they can actually pay for on the whim of nothing, on the whim of literally, yeah, okay, let's go and do that.
Mhm.
So I look at it, or what's gonna upset me the most is that I will say this, and then we should jump into the finals because the finals is going crazy.
Mhm.
But it would be a slap in the face to public health that if, because let's say you said take a day of, right now, unless you go to a rapid testing site, it's about 2 to 5 days your results. So if you're telling me the only way people are, or there would be mass versions of a single day testing, would be to go to an NBA game and not in the instance of just general public health. That would just be ridiculous. That it took NBA to, and that money, entertainment money, to be able to provide people with faster COVID testing,
Mhm.
like in mass. Not because we
Yeah.
know it's possible, it's just not in mass. And it would be crazy that the single day testing didn't become standard. It only became standard to go to an NBA game. Like, do
I
you
mean,
understand what I'm saying? Like,
nah,
that's just
nah. I
straight
feel you.
crazy to
I
me.
feel you, but I feel like, like, and I don't want to drag the topic, but it's just kind of like, I feel like that's really where we're at as a society. Because honestly, we've already, as a society, realized this topic and this conversation. We're at a point where we're talking government and those big business tech organizations, these big giants that just are so massive, they almost exist on their own self. They're their own organization. The only thing that semi keeps them in check is the tax regulations that they have to fall under. That's the only thing that keeps them under check.
Very limited
Whatever
and
that is.
loose tax restrictions, if
Yeah.
there are really any, honestly.
Like, if we're being honest, a Mark Zuckerberg is stronger than a fucking like United States government. Somebody who's a billionaire tech organization or this entity that exists multinational, multi-country across the globe is more powerful than a single government. If we're being honest, their value and their money.
Facebook is literally not this. Facebook was made because this man was being horny in college.
Like,
and we're at the point where Facebook is literally responsible for the course of American politics.
Bro, it's incredible.
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Why is that possible? It's now like Mark Zuckerberg becomes basically literally responsible. If a Republican, whoever came up to him was like, yo, here's an unlimited check to do whatever the fuck you want if you allow so-and-so ads to be visible and so on and so forth. Get my message across. That could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Zuckerberg and Trump met, and we have no idea what they met about. That's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. That's a conversation in itself because,
but let's not.
Oh man, yo, we should. Now, honestly, we should talk that because before the playoffs, you know what, the playoffs, let's leave that because the playoffs we could tackle into the event because I know we obviously already started talking COVID, right? Yeah. Obviously, the White House had a COVID outbreak. If we want to really keep it like on the same topic, you know, NFL was jumping off. They had the COVID outbreaks. We was talking. They had the Trump mentality. They had that the COVID don't exist. We're gonna have fans in
Trump
these arenas.
Mentality, and guess what?
And guess what's going on, guys? Guess what's going on?
Has COVID.
Cat's out the fucking bag, and we said that episode fucking 1. We knew that shit. He probably been had COVID. Let's be real. Let's be real. This motherfucker is so arrogant that I wouldn't be shocked.
31 people in the White House circle have COVID.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. 31 people. Yo, and there people are tracing shit and they're saying, yo, there's a possibility that he could have tested positive the day of the debate.
I heard they said he wanted to wait until he tested positive 2 times to even try and announce that he had COVID. Like this dude knowingly had COVID and was just whatever.
They said after that, I think on the 29th or something, he had like a presser and they were saying they switched out the booths. Like he had his own booth, and then if somebody else made a speech, they used another booth. What? And it's like, man, like you're right. He really could have had it, waited to that double positive, and then announced.
Oh man.
And the fact that like I personally believe like they kept telling him you need to go to the hospital right now, and he straight was like no until the point that he had to. Like my man got flown by helicopter. That was straight like, yo, Mr. President, we need to get you to the hospital. That motherfucker is struggling to breathe. He's struggling to breathe.
It's just crazy. It's just like, yo, like how did we get here as a country to the point where we've elected easily the most irresponsible president in the history of the country? One of the most irresponsible fucking billionaires in the history of the country, because he was a billionaire. I'll give him his good respect. But the dude has been bankrupt a fucking number of times. Yeah, fuck respect. Fuck respect.
That money is not his money.
And it's not his money. And it's his father's money.
That man is a terrible businessman. Every venture he's had has been either a sham, the university, all that shit has been scams, in which he's literally scamming people out of money.
What happened to Trump University? Was that actually a thing? Like, did that
was a scam? It was a scam. He scammed people out of thousands, tens and thousands of dollars, and did not pay that shit back. He paid like a portion of it or some shit back.
What a clown! And it's just crazy.
He literally has lost money time and time again.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. Like all these people have so much faith in him, and it's just kind of like you kind of like look, and it's just like, dude, like what is the actual track record that you have supporting? Or what has he done to say, okay, he wants to support? Or, okay, what you're saying, he's driven, right? If you go ahead and compare it to what Obama was doing, let's say his last 4 years, right? Those same things that you're bolstering, was those things in, let's say, decline or increase when Obama was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, was the economy booming when Obama was in? And then Donald Trump, it may be very well possible that Donald Trump inherited a booming economy or booming industries that he is now taking claim on because it's already been on an up climb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not sitting here trying to shit on the presidency. At the same time, presidency, I can't imagine it. You're not inheriting something that needs a complete overhaul every single year. It's something that needs, don't get me wrong, some fine adjustments and fine tweaking, and year after year it continues to show it. I'm not sitting here saying America's fine by any means. We continue to show it every fucking year in, year out, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute. But this place is a shithole. It's not it's an over glamorified version of everything else all over the world. Like, when I'm traveling the world and I'm in Africa, and trust me, and I'm getting bullshit from my family members. They'd be like, "Oh, you're from America. You don't understand this, that, and the third." Trust me, we understand it. We understand it. We just getting like some fucking imaginary first class bullshit version of it. If not, like the third class version of it, just in a first class world, I guess you would say. We're getting the same shit y'all would get just in the first class world. I don't understand. So
the
like,
American dream is really a lie unless you are born into this country as a white man. Like, straight up, it's just that's really unfortunately how it is. And like, people who have made it and who are not that has been out of probably twice to three times as much hard work as the next person would have had to do for you to get there. So that is the exception. That is not the rule. Like, people say, oh, the system works for me. And you see people like, I don't know if you saw Ava DuVernay, what she said.
Oh yeah, no, I heard what's going on with her. It's so funny, actually, before you even go into Ava DuVernay. But Ava DuVernay has me blocked for whatever reason on Twitter. I'm one of the few. So I saw somebody tweeted this shit. Somebody tweeted some shit that she had on block. And I was just like, yo, I should retweet this too and say, yo, deadass me too. Like, and I wonder why. I'm like, the most random people have me blocked, with all due respect, but I'll let you keep going.
Somebody found an old tweet of hers. I can't personally confirm, but I've seen other people comment on it. I don't know if it's true, but people saw the shit where it said in 2012, basically she's commented like, oh yeah, love Harvey Weinstein, heard the stories of him. I don't really care. Like, what? This is in 2012 before it blew up. Then with the Trump shit, she's always been like, oh, screw Trump, we're gonna vote you out. Then when he got sick, she's like, wow, all these people. No, first she said in the election, she said, if you're not voting, or if you don't vote, then you deserve what you get if Trump wins again. Like, whoa, I'm sorry, what? Like, you don't
I hate
vote?
those people. I hate those people.
That would be happening to those people.
Yeah.
They have to endure that because they said, you know what? Honestly, it hurts me both ways. If they came to that judgment, like, I don't have no faith in the system, and you're there and say, well, you deserve what's coming, or they go and do vote and you still lose, so they deserve what's coming to them. Like, I don't understand. Then with the Trump shit, when he got sick, she was like, oh, you're no better than him if you're wishing he were gone and stuff like that. And then after, he said something else, and then she went back to saying, oh, you're pure evil.
Tell you what, yo, I hate people like that, bro.
Like, oh,
I hate people like that. I hate people like that. You know what? This event, and I guess, let me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just to add more context, if you don't know, if anybody who doesn't know, she directed the Netflix documentary 13 about the 13th Amendment and the prison industrial complex, and also directed When They See Us about the Central Park Five, in which Donald Trump literally put ads out into the paper to have these people killed. And you're saying this shit, like, what is going on?
Yo, like, it's just so crazy to me, son. It's so fucking crazy to me because you know what? I did see a lot of those tweets, and I saw that. And when I saw that, I was blocked, and I seen that shit, and I was just like, yo, you know what? Like, I just got tired. I was like, yo, you see, it serves that motherfucker right. Like, yo, why she got me blocked for one? Because, like, that shit rubbed me the wrong. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, because one, I watched both of those documentaries, and I thought they were great. I was just like, I was shocked because I was kind of a supporter of hers. I didn't know why I was blocked. I was like, I probably said some dumb shit on Twitter, like, me. But at the same time, like, when you look at her track record, it's just kind of like, damn, like, okay, shit. That's that conversation that I always wanted to have, man. I always love having this conversation. You know, these motherfuckers that just be posing or just be minute actors or people that want to act right in the moment. And I do believe that people can change. I don't want to sit here and be hard on anybody for having a difference of opinion from what in 2012. That's 8 years ago. Like, I do want to give her a chance to change or the right to change. That's everybody's warranted that right. But let's be real. Like, if it's shown that she has like that track record and she's like done this multiple times, or she's reflecting things, or just like you said, like she's sitting here now talking about some mercy. Like, what are you talking about mercy for in a situation where this dude doesn't deserve mercy? I'm not gonna say. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and call for his death, but I'm not gonna sit here and call for his mercy. Trust me about that one. There's no mercy that needs to be like warranted there. Like he if he dies, he deserved to die. There's nothing to talk about. Like what are we talking about? Like what's the conversation?
Yeah, I'm gonna bleep that out just for legal reasons.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody get called up.
Nah, that's a fact.
I'm gonna just bleep it, but I know you know, like.
Hey, nah, yo, look, in my defense, we
can neither confirm nor deny that the previous comments in question were used in joking manner. We have no more comments at this time. Thank you.
Yeah, but look, man, obviously, I hope the president gets well, but
oh, he got that.
Yo, but look, if it happens, it happens, and all I'm saying is this, right? You know,
the Ivan Drago.
Exactly. If he dies, he dies. It's that simple. It's that simple. If you just look at her situation, it's just like, I hate those type of people though. It's just like, you know, you want to be wishy-washy on people like situations like this. We have to be realistic. And I love that this situation like kind of has like awakened the realism out of people. Like a lot of people have been very realistic about, oh yeah, I hope this motherfucker does it and that. Yeah. Tweet that. Tweet it. I want to see it. I want to see y'all be realistic about y'all feelings for this dude. Be realistic about what y'all feeling. Yeah, like, cause like, what are we sitting here lying about? That, like, to be honest, look on their side. Look at how they talk about us. Look at how they tweet about us. Look at how they treat us. Look at how they talk about
running over protesters. He said run over protesters, and people are running over protesters. Like every protest, there's somebody trying to drive through them, straight up killing people. The screen that say, hey, black, I myself a black and other non-black people, they're also saying, hey, listen, we're trying to help black people here. They just want equity, yo. And these people are like, nah, I'm about to drive.
Nah, look at these savages. Kill them. Like, what? Are you serious? Like, that's really what's going on. Like,
that's going on. Straight up.
Yo, it's just so terrifying. Like, and it's like when you just take a step back and, you know, you just really analyze the situation. You just really like, I want to see this because it means people are waking up. And that's black radical in me. And, you know, I understand, yo, bleep as much as this one out as you want. But this is black radical in me speaking in this. And I'm not going to say nothing crazy. But I do understand that, like, differences of opinion, that's either something that historically one side agrees with and just chooses to cope with or not. And that's the only thing I can really say on that. I'm not going to tell you what kind of happens after that. We have thousands and thousands of years that kind of show you what happens between sides that don't really agree on things. But I'm just telling you that people that don't necessarily agree, or at least like we talk about disagreements about certain things is fine. Disagreements on human rights is not something that can be fine or not. That's something that's either you have to be on the right side of history to me, or you have to be on the wrong side of history to me. And the people that are on the, and if you're on the wrong side of history, I don't know if me personally, this is all I'm going to say. I'm not implying anything here. I'm not saying anything straight up, but I'm just saying, I don't know if I could be around anybody who believes that of the negative things of the wrong side of history. Like if it's something that comes to human rights and you are on the wrong side of it, we can't be in the same vicinity, with all due respect. Not long term, for like with all due respect. It just won't happen. It can't work. It won't be a thing that's in equilibrium.
Straight up, we're
That's me.
literally like
That's
we're
me
literally
agreeing to
marching
subjugation.
towards. If it don't get better, we're marching towards a revolution. Like straight up,
yeah.
Like it's at the gates where what happens in November, and then after that, like if it's straight up, is people just start being like, nah, I'm tired of this shit.
Like I don't even want to go
like,
crazy with this Rip situation, but wasn't there another guy? Was it? I don't even know his name. Jonathan. I'm gonna pull it up. I have a retweet on it right here. Sorry guys, I usually want to have this Jonathan Price. So Jonathan Price.
So and unfortunately, his comments before his death,
it's just crazy. It doesn't matter if you're on their side or not. And I was just having that conversation with wifey because it's so funny. I was tweeting it and I was just like joking about it because what can you do but laugh at life? You know what I'm saying? And I know like Dave Chappelle has just always been somebody that I always look up to in this because he's somebody that's right about this shit. If you can't make a joke of some of this shit, you like sanity wise, our sanity would not work. But I live on the street essentially, and then in the neighborhood. Well, I live on Staten Island, guys, and I don't want to overexpose my location.
Speaking of, with that damn
with the rally, fucking rally that they had down, Trump, like Trump. It's just crazy. Like so I obviously, you revealed that we live in one of the hotbeds for Trump. Like they're big on Trump supporting, and like because of that. On my street, for instance, this is a super blue lives matter, this, that, and the third. Like, I'm talking like they don't even talk to me. They barely say hi to me. Like, what up? Like, nothing. Like, it's one of the things where they completely isolated me. If it wasn't the fact that my family lived in this neighborhood, I wouldn't be in this neighborhood. But so pretty much, these motherfuckers, I'm pretty sure I got like Proud Boys living on the corner of like my neighborhood and the corner of my street. And these motherfuckers, I'm talking about, they got like 5 different flags up. Trump flags, American flags, Blue Lives Matter flags, like all these different flags. I'm telling you right now, if I was to go outside on my front lawn and hitch up one flag, Black Lives Matter flag, or a Nigerian flag, or some other flag that wasn't an American flag, how offended would the fucking neighborhood be? How outraged would the neighborhood be? Let alone 5 of them. What is wrong with these people, bro? Like what kind of conversation do we really have to have with people to understand?
I was talking to Ruth about that today. There's no point to reach over the table all day. You gotta meet halfway in the middle. I'm not.
There's no conversation, and you're understanding it. You're understanding.
If you're telling me, if you are literally telling me, given the opportunity, you would straight up try to remove me from this existence. I only have to meet that with the same exact intention. There's literally no other else I can do. If you're literally saying, for was it for laws, or even if I was in a position to do this, which let's be real, most people, most of these white people are in a position to do it and they get away with it.
Like I know people was laughing at that stupid Twitter post because that thing went viral and they were saying the FBI was investigating that guy that posted this stupid video. But the dude was like, "Oh, if Trump loses, we're coming hard." Like, what are you talking about? What are you even talking about?
Are they? That's how they feel. They will literally start a race war if Trump. They're ready to do that. Like a lot of these people. So I'm saying, like, I agree with you in the sense that I'm not reaching over the table. I only have to be that. Well, then I guess you gotta go. I'm gonna fight for my life. Then that's the only. There's no way you could talk to somebody that wants to kill you and rationally. In their mind, to them, they have rationally decided that that's the only thing they could do. You can have and it can be so much as that you can have conversations with them. You could even call them a friend up until then. But if it really came down to that shit, they would not hesitate.
And it's sad, bro. Like, it's so crazy, man. Like that this stuff has been happening because I've been like looking through my social media contacts, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to name drop anybody, but I saw somebody like on my Instagram story the other day, and he posted like some keychain tags, and he was just like, "Yo, Trump 2020, like you already know Trump 2020." And I was just like, "Yo," I was looking at that, and I just cringed so hard because it's just like, "Yo, the Trumpers are the most proudest political group I've ever seen, like political support group I've ever seen of any of them."
They know when they say that shit. They want people to be like, you voted for Trump. They want people like they wear that shit like, yeah, I voted for Trump. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, I voted for him. Like, come on, really? Like
it's just insane. Like, and it's just kind of like, you really just like, you really cringe at it because it's just like, dog, like like as a like even the liberals or any liberal or Democrat or anybody you want to like name call, like none of them are these people that are walking around with those five flags, and that's why I'm calling those people insane across the street. Like those people, they have those five flags and then they waving to me when I'm driving to work. Like what?
Mm.
Like what are you like? What? It makes no sense to me. So like
Yeah.
I just find myself like truly perplexed, bro. Like, we're really in a state where, we have a DJT in the White House and the COVID White House outbreak. And it's really a scare because, his incompetence, I know we fucking veered all the way off track, but I'm gonna steer right back on track. But the White House COVID outbreak, you have this incompetence where you said over 30 people have now contracted the virus, like not, and people are just chalking it down to, oh, if they get better, whatever. If they not, like if they die, like what's gonna happen if like 30 people in the White House drop dead, including President Trump right now? Like what's the fuck is gonna happen? Like what the fuck would happen next? Like people don't sit there and think about those things. So to me, it's just very, very irresponsible. The way the country's being run right now, I never would have thought that I've seen this day. Maybe and like this is something that like the older generations, I always wonder like this shit, but like they could attest to because you see your friends and the people that are your classmates, your peer mates, and they grow up and they, I'm not gonna lie, like there's even this girl that I knew and she's my peer mate and she actually was on a ballot like when I was actually like running for I said running, but went to vote at this last primary, I guess. She was on the ballot. So just when you see like older generations, and they might tell those stories, like imagine about people that became presidents or whatever, like like you imagine if you was in class with Trump and just knew that this was a dumbass nigga, like this is a motherfucker, like, and he's the president of the United States now. What?
Yeah.
Yo, trippy, son. Oh man, it's so crazy though, man. So crazy.
I just can't, like, you really can't make this shit up. Like again, this is, if it happens that transition, if he transitions into the immortal plane, if he happens to transfer to the soul realm, whatever you want to call it, happens to do that, then he would literally be the definition of play stupid motherfucking games and you will win. Stupid
motherfucking price.
Right? That's it. Like you play, that's it. You just gotta put that picture.
Right. Nah, honestly. And I mean, hey, just like you said, I don't know what comes next. We don't know, but hey, I'm here for it. I mean, hey, we lived through 2020. We can survive anything, anything else. That's how I'm feeling. I lived through 2012 now, and hopefully I get through 2020. Knock on wood. I'm feeling good. And you know what I'm saying? We anything else, I feel like I can handle it. But I guess what? NBA playoffs, right? Let's jump into that shit. Because I feel like we definitely did a good job with the White House scandal. But NBA playoffs, bro, it's been crazy. We are now arrived at the finals. I feel like the last time we did the pod was it still before game one? I think it was before game one,
before
right?
game one, yeah. So we made predictions. I'm pretty sure I said the Lakers would sweep.
I said the Lakers would sweep as well, yeah. So right
sure
now I'm off right now. I lied.
Them or 5. I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I said they sweep, so I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm off. I'm off by one because the Butler.
Salute to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game the other day, man. Honestly,
Jimmy G Buckets. The G stands for gets.
Yeah, bro. He honestly, like, I mean, because just like we said, we honestly thought it was going to be a sweep. We thought it was going to be one of those situations where it was just like inevitable odds. Like, I mean, Bam Adebayo went out. Goran Dragic went out, and they lost 2 of those games. Like, I mean, it wasn't like those guys went out and then they lost the games. They were losing the games pretty much when they both went out in the situations that they went out. So it was like really dominant, at least on LeBron and AD's side. I mean, they were both averaging like 30 plus. It felt like going through the first 2 games, AD was scoring like at one of the craziest clips I've ever seen. And now Jimmy Butler comes back with the greatest 40-point triple-double that I've ever seen in a finals game. And honestly, one of the best in a playoffs game.
Yo,
Period.
that shit just made no sense. I was like, yo, what the fuck is happening right
He looked
now?
like Michael Jordan. I mean, because he didn't even shoot one 3-pointer. He scored 40 points
No
and over
threes.
50%, over 50% from the field too.
Yeah.
So he was like really accurate. And I mean, he just did everything his team needed to do to secure that win. It was just like absolutely incredible when you really
Yo,
consider.
that immediately, like, people used to be like Jimmy Butler, Paul George. Like, like Paul George was good up and
I like that
this
you brought that up. I
literally,
was gonna say that.
boom.
I was gonna
Yo,
say
this
that.
man got to be a top 10 player now off the strength of like, yo, you're taking your team to the finals and then you show up in the finals.
Mhm.
You showed up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree because that honestly, when you really think about it, it's just like wow. Like
And you
this dude.
showed up on a team with LeBron James.
How does
Like, you
Philly
just say,
feel
yo,
letting this
fuck
dude
that.
go? How does Philly feel right now? Like letting
Yo,
this man
I'm
go.
so happy because it invalidates all that stupid ass bullshit. Oh, Jimmy Butler's a bad teammate. Remember the Minnesota shit where he was like, oh, where he played with the third stringers and beat them. He beat the starters, and they were trying to say he was a
He
bad
was like
teammate.
bullying them, and he was
And
bullying
basically, he was
Wiggins
just
and
being
Cat.
like, he was like, I want to win. Y'all motherfuckers don't want to win. And it's clear when he plays with people who want to win. Look what happens.
Look at the freaking the fucking performance. Look at how everybody meshes. Look at how
And
everybody gels.
honestly, I was like, I when he first signed there, I was like, that's pretty interesting. I'm like, I'm sure there'll be a pretty solid squad. They're great.
Mhm.
They're clearly great. But it's just amazing that it was like, oh wow, that's a fit that like this it wasn't the teams. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the team. It wasn't the guy.
It wasn't
Like, he
Jimmy
was
Butler. It
good.
was the teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you see, like, yo, Pat Riley, Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, the Heat, and the team he has around him. They
Yeah, no,
good.
they can do damage. So, like,
Crazy.
I mean, I don't know. Like, have we seen enough? I guess. I guess the question now becomes: have we seen enough to where it becomes a series, or is it over in a gentleman's sweep? Because we still have. We did say it was going to be a sweep. We didn't say it was going to be a
Yeah.
sweep, a 4-0 sweep, or a gentleman's sweep. So we do still have a
Yeah.
chance to be correct. I do think the Lakers will respond with a win for sure.
Yeah, I think it's because simultaneously the Lakers really did have a bad game. Like, they just looked just like they were like, meh.
A little off,
Honestly,
yeah. They weren't
like,
on
Braun was
point.
doing, he had so many fucking turnovers. Like, he just
And
was
then
not
AD
handling
got
the
in
ball
foul
well.
trouble.
It got in foul trouble, and it was just a sloppy game. But hey, they 5-pieced everybody along the way here, and the same thing happened. Same thing, game 3 with Denver. They just kind of, and then they came back and won 2 more. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
So it could happen the exact same way. They bounce back and they're like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
look,
like,
and all of a sudden they were like, all right, let's play a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Then they went up on them, and then they just lost it again. But look how easy it was for them to come back after that they tied the game up and even had the lead. So
yeah, no, that's a fact.
But
Yeah.
if they would have kept that pressure and stayed with it, they would have won that game. We would have been looking at 3-0, but can't think about that. So
nah, I do agree because I always do have to still take a step back, analyze and reevaluate the situation to make sure to remind myself, this is what, the 5th seed I think in the East, or what are they?
Yeah.
I think they were the 5th seed in the East. Like, I mean, I don't even know what that would be in the West, but I'm just saying, like, you always got to still remind yourself that, like, the Lakers have beat better teams than the Heat. Like, the Heat, and I think the playoffs is still always a game of matchups more so than it is, okay, we're just better than this team. Like, it is a game of matchups. If they have the personnel over 7 games to figure you out, then it can become kind of a conversation. And I don't think I'm ready to say that the Heat can do it. I think playing Olynyk kind of made things interesting because Olynyk had a better game than AD. It's crazy to say. But like, when you look at just the ability to throw different type of matchups at people and still play physical and still have the all-star scoring wing, that could make things, I don't want to say difficult for LeBron, but I mean, he has the physicality to play on LeBron and still come out and give you 40 on a triple-double. Something got to be said on 45, 48 minutes. I mean, like, Jimmy Butler is hooping, and you're right. Like, there is the conversation, because I always had that conversation. To me, it's been Kawhi and Paul George. But then when it was Kawhi and Paul George, there was the year, obviously, after Derrick Rose, when he was trying to come back in the Bulls, we saw the ascension of Jimmy Butler when he had that breakout preseason and it just led to a breakout year. Jimmy Butler just became pretty much another Paul George, just at the 2 guard position. Like he
Yeah.
could play the 3, but he was truly a 2 guard more so than Paul George, Kawhi, and LeBron that are 3 guard. Threes that could play the 4. They play the 1s sometimes. You look at Paul George, you look at Jimmy Butler now though. Who is better? You know what I'm saying? Like who is necessarily the better
It's
player? I
clearly Jimmy Butler.
I think Jimmy Butler is the better player overall because he can bring you into the postseason. That's something
It's
that you
very
need.
clear that
He's a
he
better
shows up.
consistent, more consistent. He's a much more consistent player, more to the like of like a Kawhi. He's approaching that realm of like a Kawhi more so than he was on the plane with Paul George. Paul George got some work to do, man. He got some work to do. It's heartbreaking. That's my boy, but definitely he got some work to do to at least
And
get back into our good graces.
Jimmy Butler's an aggressor. Like that guy plays hard. Like that's one of those few motherfuckers that goes out there and be like, nah, I'm about to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just straight up got, you know, I don't like to talk intangibles too much because it sounds corny sometimes, but like, you know, for real, like he just straight up is one of those guys that comes in and is like, yo, I'm gonna play hard. Like if I want to win, I'm gonna play hard. I'm gonna give you that effort regardless.
Nah, I love it.
And guys who are good like that, like, and they do that, look, they're capable of great things. Same thing like Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, when he's like, nah, I want this game, 50-point triple-double. Like, what?
Yeah, nah, it's crazy. When Russ is just like I always say it every single time, but he's just the biggest like anomaly, like of just all-time performances to just all-time forget about it performances. I want to forget. Like yeah, you're right. Like his motor allows for him to be able to do those things, and that's why we love him for it. But not to harp too long on the Jimmy Butler situation, guess I'll make my transition over into my other good brother, who is a great guard. Shout out to the point guards and shooting guards of the league. But Kyrie Irving, a shooting guard playing point guard, made some super duper controversial comments on the Kevin Durant podcast. I think it's called the Etc. Shout out KD. Because that dude is still one of the greatest scorers we ever seen, and I think
absolutely,
the greatest scorer of all time.
I think he's like the most complete scorer I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the better term to use, the most complete scorer, because there is still a difference between the greatest scorer of all time and the most complete scorer of all time in the league. Right now, KD, you're right, most complete scorer in the league, inside, outside, mid range, nobody better.
I just can't believe, like, what at your size, this is. Nah,
it makes no sense. But shout out, Bull. He launched his new podcast. I think it's him. He got a co-host that I believe is pretty much just a moderator, probably somebody who has a better background, obviously, in doing the thing. And pretty much the conversation came up, teams, like I guess their composition, and Kyrie just fired off some controversial statements. You know what I'm saying? He started talking crazy. He was like, "Yo." For the first time, like looking down the court, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but I feel comfortable like, oh, that's KD. Like I always felt like I was the baddest motherfucker on my team, and I was the number one option down the stretch to make shots. Now I could look, there's KD, there's somebody that can make it, or somebody as equivalent or of equivalent shot making value of me.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like, dog, you played with Bron, arguably the greatest player of all time. Like KD is a great player, but not top 5.
Statistically, has a better clutch record.
Yeah, like so it's just kind of like, dog, like LeBron is better than you in every which way across the board, and you still have the guts to even mention his name in conversation, especially when you're home right now and he's contending for a title. I mean, I guess let me start off by saying this, because I did chime in, and it was lit me. Like lit me is different than obviously sensible me, and I'm lit right now, but I am sensible. Let's just say this. I started off by saying I do think Kyrie, surprisingly, if given way more opportunities or as many opportunities as LeBron, can be as good of a clutch time performer. I just think that LeBron is such a good player, like, because I don't think that's even given to account. The reason why his numbers, obviously, he has so many more attempts, has been proven better in many more times, because he's just that better of a player. He's a better player. So he finds himself overall in that situation way many more times. When you take that out of the equation, though, and you just say, okay, like let's just say, like to their age, and I mean, I think LeBron still probably has more attempts, but to that point in time, like Kyrie probably has better like moments, or at that moment of when he hit those shots, or like late time, like and when you actually do consolidate it to just the playoffs, because I don't want to like jump too around. Like I feel like it's very like it's not at advantage for Kyrie. Kyrie is at a disadvantage because he's obviously not a playoff performer. He's not as good as a player, so hence he can't get into the playoffs as much as like a LeBron led team would. Um, when you take those out of the equations, though, you just look at, okay, Kyrie's crazy clutch time numbers in the clutch, his crazy buzzer beaters or clutch ice gaming or icing the game type shots during the regular season. He probably has really good numbers when compared to Bron. That's the reason why I personally said, yo, look, I think Kyrie is the better shooter. He's a better shooter than LeBron. Are we going to sit there and argue that? No.
Right.
LeBron is going to be given more space to shoot on the three because he's considered a poor shooter. People don't respect his shot as much. So LeBron gets his shot off without anybody being smothered all over him. Kyrie is getting hammered when he's getting those shots off, and he's icing them in people's faces. So you got to like, it's context to it. And I think that, that's the reason why I said what I said. But when you roll the tape, when you look at the statistics, like you said, like I do agree to, because I am realistic, LeBron is the better player. And I'll let you get your shit off about that. What do you think?
No, yeah, it's just crazy. Like it's a combination of like, I understand his mentality. Like you have somebody who's known for creating their shot from the outside more so, in the sense that like, if the defense is on, I can know that Kevin's gonna soup doop doop, on some shit like that. And not that Bron does it or doesn't do that, but I guess KD's known more for it. They just have a reputation, even though, Kevin Durant was the youngest scoring champ ever. He's a phenomenal fucking scorer, but it's crazy at the same time. Like Bron is still number 3 now on the all-time scoring list?
Insane.
Number 3?
Insane. Has a chance to contend for top scorer of all time. As somebody who's not considered a scorer or a clutch time performer or somebody with the killer instinct.
Exactly. I can't believe that. Like at the same time, it just absolutely makes no sense. And we're saying there and like, yeah, but the numbers say otherwise.
Like when you got to sit back and like just take a step back and think about that, it's just like, wow. And it's just like, yeah, like that's why to me, I had to really just sit back and say, all right, Kyrie, you my guy. Yeah, I tweeted out whatever I tweeted out, but definitely opinion wise, he is bugging. When you roll the tape, I do even think like if LeBron wanted to be a jack, man, and I mean he just wanted to like truly like be a scorer of like any kind, he's proven like we gotta give him the respect at least because he's proven in moments that he can turn to an incredible scorer that can give you 50, can give you 60, can give you 40 at any moment's notice. If it's necessary, he will do it. So like, I'm not gonna sit here and overly agree with Kyrie. I think Kyrie has a point, but Kai, you need to get into the playoffs. You need to prove it more. You need to win an MVP. You need to prove that you're not a locker room cancer. You need to prove there's so many things that Kyrie needs to prove otherwise than just being on the podcast and talking his shit. You know what I'm saying? Because then he followed it up with the excuse. People was giving him flack for that. He did the IG live. I was listening to that. Kyrie is just an odd mind, man. He's really one of those guys that,
he's so smart and so like, what are you doing all at the same time?
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me.
Like, because, it's so funny. And I don't want to give too much thought to this because I believe the earth is round. Let's be real. I just straight up believe that.
Yeah, like the flat earther shit. How the fuck do you think is the earth flat? Yeah. And then simultaneously, like, I had to give him credit for saying, yo, I'm ready to do this radical shit. Like, if we're not going to play, I'm ready to not play. Let's do it. Like, I don't want to play. I want to do
exactly.
We'll do that shit. So it's like, all right, the guy's smart and he's very, it's just odd stuff like that. Like,
some people will cling, like, unfortunately, and that's the problem with the intelligent mind. Any intelligent mind, anybody's intelligent mind, you're either gonna have them extremely on one scale or extremely on another on a variety of topics. And I'm not gonna lie, like I actually found myself like explaining to Cheyenne why I could understand why Kyrie could believe the earth is flat. You got to understand from our perceptions, right? Our perceptive plane is the earth is flat, right? Like, let's be real. And I'm not giving logic to it. I'm just giving the explanation. I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm not sitting here saying I agree, but I'm just saying this. The Earth is perceived as flat. We every day we're perceiving the Earth as flat, right? Then again,
Uh,
in a fucking plane, same thing. We see the Earth is flat, but that's not the thing. It's not on from the Earth or from a plane that you perceive the Earth is flat. It's from space, things like that. That's where you're going to be able to perceive that the Earth is round. Now, my problem is with this, and this is where conspiracy Tiny comes in. Less than 100 people probably in all of time have been in space. How do we know that shit is real? Like, just like the
oh,
conspiracy
brother.
theories go about the moon and shit like that, we don't know this shit is real. So I'm just saying, like, with all the shit that the government has lied to us about in life, I would not rule it out of the realm of possibilities. Like, I can put that
That
into the realm of
space
possibilities.
doesn't exist.
No, not that space doesn't exist. I believe that space doesn't exist, but to be honest, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything because to me, unless I've done it, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm the mind that unless I've done it, I don't know if it's been
You
done.
got to think about how I think people fail to understand, like, yeah, we made a certain technological achievement, but we're so primitive in leaving the planet. Like, our technologies are very not
Yeah, and
ready for
exactly.
space travel. So it's very limited. And also, again, like, the military puts it into, I mean, the government puts the money into military spending. NASA does not get all of that funds, but that shit is very expensive. Rocket fuel, building those
Mm-hmm.
shit, like
For
any type
sure.
of repair. Then they're building the International Space Station. Like, that's absurd amounts of money that like NASA just routinely, like, I don't, they just don't get enough to really support that. So I can
Mm.
understand, like, we just don't go back. Cause the biggest thing I always hear from people like that is like, oh, well, why did we go back? I'm like, well, one, it's the moon. We probably just gathered enough from like, okay, well, this doesn't really look like there's much here. It's just the moon. And we send rovers over there. So we still send those equipment. We're like, well, we don't need to send a man over there because that's very expensive. Here, send a little fucking rocket, get this drone, and we'll remote control the drone from there. Save money, you do that. And that's what we do for the most part. We have no reason to really send people into space to other planets because that costs efficiency, just like anything, is just too great of the cost to do that. And the government does not want to give money to that because they just don't see it as something that would lead to anything right now.
I mean, I agree. I honestly think if that's the smart physical plan, that's what we should like obviously do. But my thing is, then you're choosing to just believe what the government is saying.
Come on.
I don't,
Come on.
no,
I
no.
know
I
you
mean,
don't believe
I know.
that. I know you don't believe that.
No, I mean, come on though. Like, just given like the shit
But
that we've
you're
seen.
saying that the government, there's scientists that have this information supported. Unless you believe that the government's holding a gun to every single scientist on planet Earth's back and saying, you better not tell them what's going on. Like, I cannot firmly believe that, like, that's the thing. It's not the government. The government only tells me but so much, but they're not really delving into that. It's scientists. Like, I read physics now, like every now and again on certain advancements in it. And they're like, yes, this is space. This is everything. It's just, that shit is so advanced and so that our perception is so limited. So you just don't hear about it as much because, most people that would put money into it just don't see it as a quote unquote investment that makes you money.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I respect
like,
that.
so, like, you don't hear about it as much, but science and they're still trying to figure out what the hell is going on up there. It's just there's no money to put people on planets. There's none of that. Like, our priorities are still basic human needs, apparently still need to be that. We still haven't solved that shit first. That's why we haven't solved that. We're not done fixing this fucking planet before we start looking at other planets.
No, it's tough. Like, and I guess that's like, because you're right. Like, it's not something that I truly believe. Like, why would the government lie to me about that? You know what I'm saying? Why would scientists that are there researching doing this shit every single day in their life gain from lying to that?
Suddenly having conspiracy, putting that much time into teaching it at university, teaching every single little detail about sciences to that extent about space, and believe and it's every single thing. Nah, this doesn't exist. That they just would sit there and it would be that elaborate.
If you was paid enough, you don't think you would do that though? As a human,
as faking the amount of content that you have to learn for those kinds of scientists is crazy. The math is
Yeah, I
astronomical.
agree.
You
I
can't
agree.
fake that shit at all. There's no way. Like there are people that have dedicated their whole lives to this. Like it just, and again, science is continuously something that, hey, look, this guy made something 2 years ago. Well, this guy found that, or this person found that it was wrong. Cool. Update it. Like that's just everything is still a theory. It's still Einstein's theory of relativity because it only means that we can support this within our current model of our understanding. If we happen to get a better understanding of everything, then we would do away with that and do some new shit.
Mm.
So it's
Nah, I
just
feel
too
you.
complex. It's
I
way
feel
too
you.
complex.
Nah, you know what? You know what? This shit, we gave him a little sneak peek. We gave him a little sneak peek of what physics used to be like in high school. And honestly, one day we're gonna give him the existential episode. We're gonna give the Touch the City existential.
Yo,
Yo, no, yo. Oh man. Honestly, because I was about to take a leap down that hole just now. I had to hold myself back just now. I had to. I was like, yo.
I was like, yo, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I could talk about this.
I was like, yo, we about to go there. We about to go there. Like, oh man. But yeah, nah, that shit is crazy. Hopefully they're not lying to us. But man, yeah, nah, that's it. I got my shit off my chest. That's it.
That's it. That was hilarious.
Nah, that's a great way to end. I love it.
Kyrie Irving is bugging. That's the title. Kyrie Irving bugging.
Oh,
You bugging,
man.
Kyrie.
Oh,
But
man.
anyway, thank y'all for tuning in to Touch the City. This has been episode 30. Again, thank you for listening to us for 30 episodes. And if this is your first episode, we doing another 30. We gonna keep this shit going. It's easy. Love doing it. We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep, as if whenever we get through this, we will adapt. We will go and we will make this, do what we want to really do with this. So this is just phase one. It feels like we ain't even reached phase 2 of the pod. Phase 3 for all the shit we got planned. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm Fax Mercury. That's Twim 4K, the boy. Follow us on tools at Fax Mercury, at Twim 4K. And I hope everybody's safe. Don't be like the president. Feel me? Wear your mask. That's crazy that could be a sentence in 2020. Don't be like the president.
Don't be like the president.
Not just that either. So, anyways, don't be like the president. Hope y'all safe. And thank you for tuning in. Catch y'all on the next one.